We have laid claim to conquering our first territory in the Fortuna district, and now we are going to try and see if we can do the same thing in the downtown borough, which at the moment is under the control of Bushido. We've already beaten Angie's crew of 21st Street. This, by the way, is how we can also monitor our territory control. And now that we've crossed into the Fortuna borough, we might as well cross into downtown. And the Silverton borough, that will be coming up later on in the game. But for now, let's switch our focus to downtown, as our first territory is going to be this. We've got 3 races to do here. Got a sprint race, a circuit race, and a drift race. So I think what we're going to do first, we're going to do the drift race first, just because I figured this one will probably be the shortest, and also because we're actually doing what's effectively a circuit drift race, as opposed to the mountain drift races we've done before. Yes, we are trying this again, and as you can see, I have switched over to my Mazda RX-8 because it is pretty clear that just from the face of it, my Dodge Charger is clearly not made for drifting. This is definitely a tuner car race, and that's why I switched over to my RX Rotary the 8th, which is pretty much what my sort of backup plan was going to be, considering on how bad I was going to be with the Charger. Every car has their advantages and disadvantages, and for the Charger, well, drifting is not one of them. I think that much is obvious. It has the advantage when it comes to speed, yes, but not when it comes to just being able to outright put together the combo scores. I know this because by the end of the first lap, I barely had even 9,000 on the scoreboard by the time I finished the lap. No, good thing I wasn't in the middle of a drift during that whole misdirection. I'm glad I at least managed to get myself the RX-8 because I figured it was going to be useful for just this sort of thing. And sure enough, that's exactly what it proves to be. As I have nearly 63,000. First time I've actually hit a wall in this entire event, but yeah, I think it's fair to say the RX-8 is clearly a way better choice for this event than the Charger was. I could have maybe got some upgrades and seen if I could make some changes to the setup, but to be honest, because later today, since I am recording this on a Thursday morning, it's going to be over 30 degrees. I am basically going to be melting later on. So I beat Vance to victory by nearly 12,000. Then we had Hunter in third, and Big Gun, and at the back it was Big Mo. So these are our stats, and also our laps. 45,000 on the first lap, along with nearly 20,000 on the second lap. Vance really got on good in the second lap as opposed to the first. The only one who didn't do so well on the second lap was Big Mo, and that was why he fell to the back. Hunter also did a good effort as well. But anyway, there we go. Our first win in the downtown borough. And I suspect we're going to get a cutscene here from encountering Kenji.
Back in town. Now I want to hear you're gone.
So that is our encounter with Kenji. Now confirmed. As we've also... Oh, that's not what I meant to press. As we've also completed our first event in the downtown area. So now we've got Chinatown Tram and Silk Road among the other two races we are going to do. I think I should be able to do the sprint with the charger. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the safe house, and we are going to switch back to the charger for the sprint race, because I figure acceleration wise this thing might be able to give me the advantage. Maybe. I haven't played this game for over a week, and because I've been more focused recently on trying to get through the San Diego portion of Midnight Club 3, I haven't really been able, time-wise, to slot in for NFS Carbon recently. At least not most recently. But I will make sure to at least rectify this as soon as I get back. So we got myself and Samson along with a Mitsubishi Eclipse. And also a Mazda RX-7 FD among our competition. Okay. If I am going to beat these tuners... Oh, sorry Samson. I wasn't sure on what you were trying to do. Okay. Shit. Okay.
Here he comes, right side.
Starting to wonder if I might have to use the RX-8 for these downtown races. Because handling-wise, my Charger is currently going nowhere.
Got a problem here, just give me a sec.
But somehow, I'm at least managing to stay ahead of both the tuner cars.
Yeah, we got some space.
Okay. Somehow we're both still ahead in the running order. So we're just gonna try and make sure we do that. Not sure how much that pursuit breaker is gonna help, but I'll use it anyway. We're still leading at the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, number one.
Hopefully we can stay here. Samson is keeping up with me rather well, which is what I would have expected.
Be trouble.
But we are staying ahead of both Moon and Clown, as we are still out front. Just gotta hope we can stay there.
There, you got company.
Okay.
Well, you want it, eh? Yeah? You got it. Later. You see him? You see that guy?
Just a little bit further, and then this race should be ours.
Oh, they can't beat us if they can't catch us, man.
Well, that doesn't matter because I think you've already got him, Samson. There's a lot of corners here.
You're there.
Really gotta be careful through this section. As we now
Go now, then.
heading round here and across the line.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Victory! And I've also managed to unlock chrome paint. So here's how we finished. Beating Samson by 6/10, and then we had Clown finishing 3rd, and then it was Moon who finished in 4th. Honestly, I couldn't tell you who was driving the Eclipse and who was driving the FD, but nonetheless, here we are. Top speed of 138 and an average of 87. And Samson in the end had a top speed of 164 but an average of 86. Clown also had an average speed of 86, and Moon's average speed was just 78, and he was 10 seconds behind. And here's the other stage times. At least if you want to know where we were. I pretty much led the entire way, so that's good for Team Pony Car, I guess. As we've now unlocked the Mitsubishi Eclipse GT. Basically, as long as we win 2 out of 3 races in one bit of territory in the borough.
Later, man. Catch you next time.
We're basically guaranteed to win. More or less. Or at least guaranteed to get ourselves a good prize anyway. So now we've got a circuit race, and this one is Silk Road. And you know what? I think I'm going to switch back to the RX-8 for this. Just because I want to make sure that I at least have a car that I think is slightly better handling wise through the corners. Maybe not the same on acceleration, but still enough to at least, you know, get me that extra cornering speed where it's needed. Fuck it, we'll put these on. I'm gonna remove the roof scoop now. It's a little bit pricey. Apparently the rims do not want to be auto-sculpted. You know what, we're just gonna buy these parts now. And just get on with our next thing now. For some reason the numbers don't want to show up on the left-hand side of the car. They show up on the right-hand side of the car, but not the left side. I couldn't explain why that's the case. The customization process in this game is kind of weird. Anyway. Since I have wasted enough time trying to get this thing to be different from what it was before, let's actually get on with Silk Road now. I also chose the RX-8 simply because I figured it was the easier choice. So this time we've got a Renault Clio among our competition, along with a Mazda RX-8 as well. And once again I am slow off the launch. Also, something else I just realised is, I do have a speed breaker that I can use for this. If I'm really struggling hard, I can always use the speed breaker to make any corrections to any mistakes I might be making. Honestly, couldn't tell you how I forgot about that, but considering I'm currently trying to record this in soaring heat, that might be a pretty valid excuse for me forgetting. Not for it being a straight unknown, but just for me not really thinking as straight as I would like to be, if that makes sense.
Keep your eyes in the rear view.
Okay. Keeping it together thus far. As both myself and Samson at the moment have got the advantage up front. And I think as soon as I am done with this race, I'm going to give myself a much needed break. Because, for the time being at least, it ain't getting any colder. It's just going to continue to basically get hotter as each summer goes by. It's basically going to start to feel more and more like Morocco every day. But anyway, after some early mistakes, I come away victorious. And I didn't have to put any upgrades on either. So another 13 grand as ours. So, margin of victory in the end, 1.07 seconds over Samson. Then we had Cho in third, I think that's how you say that, and Moon finished in fourth. So here's how we finished. As Samson continues to have the top speed advantage, but I still have the best average speed advantage with 106. Anyway, we're done with... what territory is this?
Look, I gotta roll. I'll be seeing you.
We are now finished with the historic Chinatown territory. And I think what we'll do next time is probably Old Quarter, since this next one will unlock the Renault Clio V6, a car I might consider using, because I reckon the tuner cars are probably going to be easier than the exotic cars. We might need a bit more for that, the way I see it. Anyway. So that's the historic Chinatown now done, and we are going to go back and review our progress. As we're now 31% complete with the game, and after dragging myself on a bit with the customization, we're nearly a third of the way there, and it only took us 8 episodes to get here. So, going to save the game now. I don't think we've unlocked anything on the reward card schemes, so I think we're just going to end the episode here. Don't know why I pressed no. Might be because the heat is causing me to think slower. Anyway, I'm gonna go on a much needed break before continuing this because I am sweltering in the heat right now. And next time we will be getting on with the challenge series, coming in the next episode of Need for Speed Carbon.